Let's predict Copa America 2024. Okay, so the site that I found that I think will be really good is the FootMob site to predict Copa America 2024. This is something that they're just recently doing now. I really love this little graphic here, how it kind of shows you like your little knockout stage and stuff, and it actually helps you track your points. So if any of you want to like follow along and do this yourselves, that'd be really great. But let's hop in here. So first off, we can predict the group stage. Now, as of right now, they're all in alphabetical order. With them being in alphabetical order, it's just you got to mix them up. So let's start with Group A. Let's just kind of go over what we have here. So we have Argentina, Canada, Chile, and Peru. Canada's the one CONCACAF team that made it in here. They have Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David. I love Canada. I'm from Canada. I think it's great that we're actually participating within this. Argentina are obviously the best team within this with Lionel Messi, but also just heritage-wise, they've won this competition 15 times, the COPA. Chile have one of the all-time leading goal scorers. I think Vargas is in the top 5 of all-time leading goal scorers. And Peru, we'll see what happens there, but they've definitely got an interesting squad, and they'll be solid in the group stage. So starting off, Canada and Argentina will play each other. I think Argentina will easily win that, maybe 3-0, 4-0. It will really be Argentina at number 1. And then from there, we have to make the decision of, is it going to be Canada or Chile at number 2? Because it's going to be Peru at number 4. And as a Canadian, I'm just going to go with my bias and just leave it as Canada at number 2, which I'm happy with. I hope you guys are happy with it. I think Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David will offer the Canadians enough firepower in order to win and get into second place, which would just be fantastic for them. I'd love to see it. Moving into Group B, we will not leave it in alphabetical order this time. We have Ecuador, Jamaica, Mexico, and Venezuela. Venezuela is one of the lower rated teams within this group. Mexico have to be the overall favorite, and then it's going to be between Ecuador and Jamaica for second and third. Jamaica does have some Premier League talent with Mikel Antonio on there. He scored an absolute wonder goal for the Jamaicans recently. By recently, I mean like within like the last 4 years. But the Mexicans should win this. They're looking to kind of have a return to glory. They have lost to Canada recently as well, so they're not in the greatest form. And Ecuador's players like Moise Caicedo, I think Estupiñán is on that team as well. So they've got some like really, really, really high-end talent on their team. It just depends on whether or not Ecuador can show up. So if you are going to make like a dark horse prediction, I think you could put Ecuador in 1 here. I'm not going to, so I'm going to move Mexico. Sorry about that, up into number 1. I'm going to have Ecuador finish second, Jamaica get eliminated, and Venezuela finishing in 4th place. I don't actually think Venezuela will win, but it could be between Jamaica and Venezuela. Yeah, I think we're going to leave it this way, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Venezuela get 3rd place, but I do think it's going to be Mexico and Ecuador that do go through. Moving into Group C, we have Bolivia, Panama, Uruguay, and the United States. The tournament is being hosted in the United States, so America will have the home field advantage. Bolivia is by far the lowest rated team. I think they're all the way down in like the 80s in the FIFA Men's World Ranking. Panama is also very low. So it's going to be a pretty easy Uruguay, USA, probably Panama, Bolivia. But if you look at Uruguay, they're a very high rated team. I think they're in 15th now in the FIFA Men's Rankings. They've got some star power. They've got some solidifiers. Valverde on their team is a very important player for them. He'll definitely be used to help carry them through. So I do see them actually having a pretty decent tournament here. I think they have the 3rd best odds to win the actual tournament itself at like plus 650. United States in 2nd. If they don't make it out of the group stage, it's an absolute failure for them. That would be a horrendous tournament for them. So I'm going to just put them in 2nd place here. I think that with players like Reina, Pulisic, they should get through. I think Balogun's also on the team, so I think it should be a very, very decent showing for them. Moving now into Group D here at the bottom, we have Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica, and Paraguay. Costa Rica is the CONCACAF team. The other teams are all from Colombo. This group also I think will remain in alphabetical order, with Brazil winning the group, Colombia in second. Luis Diaz will be very important for them. And then Costa Rica and Paraguay rounding it out. Costa Rica and Paraguay very, very low rated. I think Costa Rica will beat Paraguay head to head, so I think that's where they'll get their points. But I think Colombia will be both Costa Rica and Paraguay getting a second place. I think Brazil wins all 3 matches, getting 9 points in this group. Brazil, this tournament, are going a little bit on the youth side. They've got Endrick coming to the tournament. Vinicius will obviously be at the tournament, so he'll be their star player. I don't think Neymar's actually going to this tournament, so with that being said, without Neymar being in this tournament, it does leave the Brazilians kind of in a transitional period, moving into their new youth and new setup. So we'll see what happens there, but I don't think Brazil have any problem in the group. When they get to the knockout stage, that's where they might be seeing some problems if they're coming up against better competition, right? So let's go ahead and let's start moving towards the knockout stage, and let's show you what FootMob has for that. So moving forward into the quarterfinals now, we're going to have Brazil, Ecuador, Mexico, Canada, Uruguay, Colombia, and Brazil versus the United States. All very, very good matchups, and I think we'll be able to go through this pretty smoothly. Argentina should have an easy victory here against Ecuador. Messi in his swan song, but players like Garnacho are going to be there, who's been very good for Manchester United this season. It's going to be a very, very strong showing from Argentina, so I do think the Argentinians will take that matchup. Mexico, Canada, this is where an upset could happen again. I do have the Canadian bias, but the Canadians have beaten the Mexicans recently. The Canadians have played very well against CONCACAF teams. So I don't actually think it's too crazy to think Canada could win here. The obvious choice is Mexico, of course. Like, I'm not saying it's not Mexico, but you could go with Canada here, so I am going to go with Canada. Uruguay, Colombia, again, we could see an upset here by the Colombians, but I think Uruguay will win this one out pretty smoothly. On an overall team basis, they'll be very good. Colombia will really have to rely on Luis Diaz to just be a massive focal point for them there. This one will be a close matchup. I think it could be 2-1 Uruguay. And then Brazil versus United States. United States at home, but I think you have to go with Brazil in this case. Now moving towards the semifinals here. We have Argentina versus Canada, Uruguay versus Brazil. The obvious choice here is Argentina. They're going to beat Canada. This will be an overwhelming victory for them. Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David will not be enough to help the Canadians get through the Argentinians. Something to be wary about is, with Argentina being an aging team and trying to integrate youth into it, it could leave them vulnerable, but in no way is Canada even going to be able to capitalize on that vulnerability. I think that Argentina will win smoothly. This could be an absolute demolition job by the Argentinians. They could win this 6-0, 7-0, 8-0. They could just destroy the Canadians here. So I don't think this matchup will be close at all. And then if we're moving down here into the second semifinal, we have Brazil versus Uruguay. This one here, I'm going to predict Uruguay to upset the Brazilians. I do think Uruguay, just as an overall team, have a little bit more consistency within them. I think that they'll be able to come through and beat the Brazilians. This will be a close matchup. I see it going to extra time, potentially penalties, and Uruguay coming out on top. Uruguay have also, I believe, won 15 Copa America. So as an overall nation, they perform very well in this. I think Brazil, with just going so youth heavy and just ending up with such a transitional team, I think will really hurt them. And I think this is where you see Brazil to fall off. So I think it's going to be Uruguay, Argentina, although everyone else will want Argentina versus Brazil. All right. And then moving into our bronze final, which will be Canada versus Brazil. No question here, Brazil's going to win. It could be a case of Brazil not really wanting to play the semifinal matchup. Not wanting to play the bronze medal matchup, but Canada's going to win this. And I do think here Argentina is going to win this one pretty handily. It should be a smooth tournament for them. I think they're plus 175 to win it. It's a pretty decent bet, but I don't condone betting. So I do think Argentina will win this one very smoothly, beat Uruguay. A good tournament for Uruguay, getting the silver medal. Good tournament for Canada. If this happens, they finish fourth place, that'll be fantastic. And a good tournament for Brazil here. A bad tournament for Brazil, getting bronze. But overall, a fantastic tournament here for the Argentinians, winning it all. This is absolutely fantastic for them. And just give me 1 second here, and we'll pull up that really cool little graphic that FootMob's doing here. And here you have it. So this is the cool little graphic FootMob has. So it has all like the quarterfinal matchups in a circle here, then the semifinal matchups in the circle, and then your final matchup here in the inner circle. I think it's so cool. I definitely think more sites should be doing something like this, and I love it so much. But let me know if you like my predictions. I bet you probably don't, but That's okay. Let me know even if you disagree with them. I'd love to hear who you guys think is going to win this tournament and what you think is the correct prediction to go with. But I hope everyone has a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.